you guys can see, I am not dressed in garden attire. There's a good reason for that. If you guys remember back, gotta get situated. If you guys remember back about a month ago, I was talking about doing some different videos where when I have some downtime on the farm, which I do right now, because we are the transition going from summer into fall crops. So we are tearing out a lot of stuff, as you can hear in the background. The Harley's back there. I am going on a road trip. My first moto vlog is going to be with my good friends. I'm not gonna tell you who they are right now, but it will be my first moto vlog. As you can see, I've got a cooler on the back full of goodies. They're about 2 hours from me, so I'm headed south, and I will see you guys then. Hey guys, Tracy here, Kansas Garden Guy, Summer Pick Farms. How are you guys doing today? Well, as you can see, I made it to my destination. I headed the motorcycle south, and I made it to my friends Cyndi and Gary Cargill's house, Pathways Homestead. They're going to take us a walk around a little bit. All right, so who do we have here?
This is Freeman. This is our Jersey bull calf that our milk cow Freedom had. And he is 8 weeks old?
Yes.
8 weeks old.
Going on 9.
9 weeks old, and we keep him up during the day away from his mama so that she can graze and then produce milk without him nursing her for the day. And then we'll milk her this evening and then put her back in with him. And he gets to nurse all evening, all night, and then in the morning we pull her out. So he's up here hanging out in the shade. We've got chickens free ranging everywhere.
We got a pig, Spotty's in this one, pen here, Spotty hog, and we got a couple little ducks. One's only got one leg.
This one here?
No, they're up here.
Oh,
in the little,
that's a hen that's broody.
Yep, broody.
Oh,
hen.
you got a broody hen.
Yep.
This little white duck only has one leg.
You only got one leg, buddy?
So it we had a coon get into the duck pens, pulled its leg off, but it seems to be doing well. So we're got to get them a pen going, and build them a house and a secure pen. Little chickens.
It's a gilt we traded for.
Got a little bit of everything out here.
Petting zoo.
Yeah.
It's a full-on petting zoo out here.
Yeah. Livestock is a huge part of our homestead. It's a huge part of our lifestyle. Besides the homestead, I do a lot of ranch work and cattle. And do a lot of building fences and stuff too. And so livestock's a huge part of our life. And probably our biggest income here on the homestead is livestock. Between selling meat, selling milk, selling eggs, and also background in cattle. That's our biggest income.
Okay.
If my wife's okay with me telling that story. I found this on a Craigslist or something like that in south of us in the county, but south of us. And I went and bought it. I think I paid $75 for it. The motor wasn't working quite right, but $75. It's chicken plucker. And I knew what it was. I'd used one before some. And I bought it, and Cyndi was kind of upset at me. She wasn't sure that we needed it. At that time, we were just raising a few barnyard chickens that we were, when we would eat them, we would skin them. It was simple and fast. We weren't plucking any. And it just bothered her that I would spend that much money on a chicken plucker when we didn't pluck chickens. And I said, you know, we've talked about getting to where we're going to sell some chicken. And I said, when we need it, it'll save us a lot of time. It'll be a great deal. We had it sitting in the garages and storage for probably 3 years. And then we started doing the pastured poultry here, wanting to sell that to customers. So I got it out, and we got the motor working right. A friend of mine helped me do that. And when I set it up in the yard and we got the motor working right, and I scalded the chicken and laid it on there and shot all the feathers out in the yard, she said, "That's amazing. I love that chicken plucker." And so it was one of those things that it just took a little foresight to see that it was something we needed. It was a good deal, and we bought it, and we use this quite a bit. It is a huge part of our meat selling operation. It helps us with our pastured poultry, saves us money, saves us time, and so it's kind of a neat thing. And that's the kind of thing in homesteading, you constantly got to be thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead, especially if you're doing it on a budget, so that you can be gathering resources as you're going, even though you don't need them right away.
That's definitely a good investment.
Oh yeah.
You see a lot of them made homemade on YouTube and stuff like that, but yeah, it's definitely a good investment.
I have used one of the homemade whiz bang,
and
I feel like they're hard on the chickens. They break legs and wings a lot more than that.
Than something like that.
And that's actually faster and a little easier to control, I think.
Little mama and 5 of her babies. She had 13, 10 survived, and we sold 5 and gave away, well, we sold 3, gave away 2. We gave 2 to Robertson's because little mama came from Robertson's, so we took 2 to Robertson's, and then we sold 3 other ones, and we got 5 that we're going to grow out for meat, and those will go to individuals. She's, yeah, little mama. She's actually very big.
She's kind of a big mama.
Yeah.
Not really a little mama anymore.
But she's very gentle. You can get in there with her and mess with the babies and pet her, and she's very gentle. She'll look for treats in your pocket. She lets you handle her babies and doesn't have a problem with it.
She's good enough to handle and pigs on her own and everything, that we'll keep her probably till she dies out here pigging someday.
No, I'm trying to keep her off the camera.
Keep it off the camera.
Off the camera.
Yeah.
A lot of locally sourced grain, a lot of scrap vegetables and grass and hay and stuff, but one of the big things that we're feeding them right now is we got a bunch of wheat that was stored and kind of shriveled, and so we're feeding them that shriveled wheat that we've soaked in skim milk from our cow, and then it sprouts and it soaks up all the nutrients, and we're feeding that to them, and they're growing pretty good on that.
So they're spoiled pigs.
Yes.
Yep. The neat thing about pigs on the homestead is they'll eat about anything. One of the things we feed our pigs that gross some people out is when we got our cow up, we'll feed them her manure, and they'll eat everything they can out of there. So pig makes good use of a waste and makes a good protein source out of stuff that's waste.
Freedom, our milk cow. Freedom really makes she's a huge benefit to the homestead. So she has a calf that we'll sell for, either raise up and sell for meat, or we will sell him as income. And all her extra milk goes to animals. We consume milk, we make cheese, we make butter, and yogurt. And she's like our big old puppy dog here. And she has drank down her barrel of water this morning, so Gary's going to get the water hose to fill it back up.
She's very beautiful.
She is. She has been sick, and so she is thinner than normal. But that will be, we've changed her rations around so that she's got more protein and stuff from her grain. We do grain.
She drank a lot of water.
She has drank a lot of water today. We do grain our animals. A lot of folks don't. We do, and we just don't have the option to completely pasture her. So she does get grain that helps with her milk production, and especially since she's been sick, to get her weight back on her, to give her some grain. She gets grain and alfalfa, and she gets about right now she's getting around 4 pounds of steam crimped oats a day. And then she is getting about 10 pounds of a beef pellet that is I think it's 16 or 22% protein, and it's got some fat in it. We're doing that to get her weight back on her and make sure she's getting everything she needs. And then she has a small pasture here that she's grazing on during the day.
What's her milk production like?
Her milk production, when we had the calf off of her, whenever she was in isolation, she was producing 4.5 gallons a day. She is now, we get 2.5 to 3 gallons of milk a day, plus her calf is on her half time. We calf share program with her. So during the day, she is on pasture. We pull her up and milk her and then put her back with her calf, and she's with her calf all night, and then separate her again in the morning. But yeah, so she's producing 5.5 to 6 gallons of milk right now total, from what we get and what the calf gets a day. A little over a pint of cream in every gallon of milk. A little over a pint of cream, and it's heavy cream. So yeah, that's what we're getting there. She's a huge benefit. Huge benefit. We can feed her milk to chickens. We can feed it to the pigs, to the dogs, everybody the ducks, everybody that's on the homestead can benefit from her milk. We had a little bit of a tragedy this year. We caught some overspray from the aerial spraying, and that wiped out our gardens, our spring and summer gardens. We are going to attempt in our small little garden, we are going to attempt to replant a fall garden. Beans, squash, cucumbers.
I'm on. Okay.
You're on.
Oh, this is our little garden, and we have we let a weed grow up in here, velvet leaf, and on the thought that it would absorb a lot of the residue from the spray that we got, and so we pulled it all out, and now we've covered it in straw. This is wheat straw to help hold moisture in the ground, and we're going to replant that pretty soon. So.
And what was that herbicide that got sprayed, or how did that get sprayed?
It was 2,4-D and Remedy, and it was being sprayed to kill a noxious weed, invasive weed called Cerisa lespedeza, and it was being sprayed on the pasture across the highway from us, and the wind drifted it onto our place.
Small garden here, and then up top there's the big garden, what they call the big garden. If you guys, most of you guys are subscribers from their channel. That's how you found my channel. So when you subscribe to their channel, you'll know they have 2 or 3 different separates of gardens. This is just the small garden because we happen to be standing here next to Freedom. But yeah, that's what happened. You can't really see it, but across the road there's a section there. Is that what you said? It was a whole section? Full section over there, as you can see, you can kind of see that from here across the road here, and that's what was being sprayed, and the wind just happened to be blowing in this direction here, and unfortunately got everything on the homestead, got animals, got all their trees, all of their garden area. They've lost everything from trees, all their nut trees, even their grass, to weeds, to everything here. So they are not getting any vegetable production this year out of this, at least for this year. Hopefully next year they can. How did you guys meet?
We were high school sweethearts. So I grew up in a little bitty dot on some Oklahoma maps, not all of them, near Silver City, Oklahoma. My family had homesteaded there, and at 4 miles south at Olive, or 5 miles south at Olive, and even the school my great grandfather had donated for the school for his kids to have school and stuff. So everybody knew everybody that was there and was kin to everybody there, just about. And so this really good-looking kid moved in between my junior and senior year of high school.
What was his name?
Who was that?
Who was that?
It was Gary. So yeah, and you know, everybody talks about the new people moving in, but the first day of school, he literally swept me off my feet, literally. So he was running down the hall, and running down the hall, I had a big stack of books in my hands because I was a nerd, and my friend and I were talking, and he plowed me over and picked up the books, helped me up, shoved them back, said sorry, and ran. And I turned to my friend and I said, I'm marrying that guy.
How old were you?
I was 17.
17?
17.
I was 16.
He was 16. And a year and a half later, we got married. Well, not quite, almost 2 years from that day. Yeah, almost 2 years. So, yeah, because that was around the middle of August, and we got married July 22nd, 2 years later. So, yeah.
That's pretty funny. I never heard that story.
Yep, that was that. It took him a little while to come around. He didn't notice me till about middle of October.
Well, he's probably pretty embarrassed for knocking you
No,
down
he
anyway,
wouldn't.
especially being the new kid.
No,
in
he
school.
had his eyes on another girl.
Uh-oh.
She broke his heart.
I had my eyes on all girls.
What started you guys in homesteading and not a 40-hour week job?
Well, a lot of our life we've done both. We have done the 40-hour week and homesteaded. I guess our childhoods.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised around a lot of Depression era people, grandparents and family friends and stuff. Dad's coon hunting buddies. And I just really loved doing things for yourself, and always have.
Why pay somebody when you can do it?
Yeah,
It was a
exactly.
lot of our mindset.
Yep. And
we didn't make a lot of money.
yeah, we've struggled with income at times, and so it's been easier to just
to do it.
make things happen for yourself when you didn't have the money, and that's kind of been a lot of our motivator.
I have a lot of food food sensitivities to preservatives, so that got, that became evident, especially a lot more after we started having kids. But I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom majority of the time, and so I quit my 9-to-5er when about a month before we had Luke, and we were already gardening. But Gary's mom was like, if you're going to stay home, you're gonna have to can. And I hadn't been canning. I've been doing some freezing. I guess I've been making some pickles, but not like the pressure canning and all out. And so my aunt wanted to quit pressure canning, so I bought her pressure canner, and I still use it. And presto.
Yeah. We've always enjoyed the homesteading aspect, and like I said, it's often been homesteading and a job.
Yeah.
Especially for me.
Yes.
And that way Cindy's been able to stay home and homestead and raise the kids. We've enjoyed it. It's something we've enjoyed. It's something that's been necessary, I guess, economically, but also for us, a lot of it is faith driven.
Yeah.
When we get to participate in God's created circles and systems that He has made, and the way that food is grown and the way it nourishes us, to me, I'm not a music guy. I don't sing well. I've got the rhythm of a three-legged mule. I mean, it's bad, but deep, meaningful, soul-changing worship for me comes in butchering and growing and getting to eat something we've made. And to me, it's been a worship faith thing for us. It's grown my faith. It's the way I feel close to my Creator.
It's become an addiction too. The more you provide for yourself, I say provide. I mean, because we truly believe God's providing it. The more you provide for yourself, the more you grow your own food, the more you even though it's probably way more expensive in the long run, that you make your own spices, to hydrate your own garlic powder and onion powder and all that, the more you want to do. The flavor is uncomparable. I mean, you cannot buy what you grow. You just cannot, unless you're buying it from another farmer, direct.
Unless
farmer.
you buy it right here off of this porch.
Well, it's definitely, homesteading is definitely more than a 40-hour job or 40-hour week job for sure.
Yes,
so it's
it
more
is.
of the harder way out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 3. If you could talk to 20-year-old, if you could talk to yourself as 20, what advice would you give yourself as you are now? So at your age right now, what would you give advice to 20-year-old you?
Oh. Wow.
I would tell myself to just take a deep breath and chill, because I was so worried about what everybody else thought and doing whatever I thought everybody else wanted me to do. In some aspects I was totally rebellion and just like whatever. But I would say take a deep breath, enjoy your kids more, and just, you're doing okay. I think that's what I'd tell myself if I could go back and tell 20-year-old me.
I definitely think that both of us would have benefited from you don't have to keep up with the Joneses talk.
Yes.
But I also, I guess twofold for me, I would have told myself to get more serious about my faith, about who Jesus is. That happened when I was 24, and I wish it had happened earlier.
What plans do you guys have for 2022?
I don't know.
Well, that's an answer.
Well,
that's
the way it looks right now, we hope to be able to replant from where we're at now. We hope to be able to replant. We hope that our land is recovered.
We want to have way more infrastructure in place.
Yes.
We do a lot of raise a lot of livestock and raise a lot of gardening stuff for not much infrastructure.
Right.
And so we would like to have some more infrastructure in place by 2022. We'd like to have a tractor by 2022 for the livestock and the gardening.
Right.
And we'd like to have our store finished. So that's part of our infrastructure. So those are kind of, I guess, wishes as much as plans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and the very last one, where do you guys see yourself in 20, 25 years?
20 to 25 years.
Still see yourself doing this?
Oh,
living
yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Different homestead?
I would like to see different homesteads. I would really like to build up homesteads kind of on a regular basis. Maybe even in this area. I love this area of Kansas. I would like to have more of a cattle operation going on in 25 years. We're going to homestead in some shape or form or manner.
As long as we can.
As long as you can,
Yeah.
physically can.
Yeah, as long as I can get up and walk, we're going to do that. To some manner.
And I'm gonna be like my mom. I'm gonna take my motorized wheelchair out on my porch and have.
We're gonna. I think we'll still be homesteading in some shape or form. No doubt about it. I mean, agriculture is in my blood, and that's what I love to do. When I was a little kid, they asked me what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a cowboy. When I was in junior high, what do you want to be? I want to be a cowboy. When I was graduating high school, what do you want to be? I want to be a cowboy.
These are doing good, moving today.
All right, guys, I guess this is where we're going to end the video for my point anyway. So I've got to head back up north to go home. But anyway, guys, as always, be safe, be kind to each other, be careful, God bless, and goodbye. Wave, Cindy. Bye, guys.